Who was Sun Tzu? If you've ever heard the phrase, all warfare is based on deception, then you've already glimpsed the mind of one of history's most influential military thinkers. But Sun Tzu was more than a general. He was a strategist, philosopher, and author of the timeless masterpiece, The Art of War. Sun Tzu, also known as Sun Wu, lived during China's Eastern Zhou period, roughly 544 to 496 BCE. This was a time of constant conflict between rival states, a period known as the Spring and Autumn Era. Imagine a world where small kingdoms were always at war, where strategy wasn't just about strength, but cunning, intelligence, and foresight. Not much is known for certain about Sun Tzu's early life, and some scholars even debate whether he was a real historical figure or a composite of multiple strategists. But what is clear is that he became a master of military strategy, rising to prominence in the state of Wu. Sun Tzu believed war was not just a matter of brute force. The art of war teaches that intelligence, planning, and psychology are just as important, maybe even more so, than sheer numbers. He famously said, "The supreme art of war is to subdue the enemy without fighting." In other words, the best victory is the one you achieve through strategy, deception, and understanding your opponent, rather than spilling blood. His work covers everything from battlefield formations to leadership, espionage, and adapting to ever-changing circumstances. In short, Sun Tzu saw war as a science and an art, a balance of mind, morale, and maneuvering. Sun Tzu reportedly applied his strategies in real life. According to historical accounts, he served King Helu of Wu and trained the army to become one of the most disciplined forces of the time. One famous story tells of him demonstrating the importance of discipline by executing soldiers who failed to follow orders, showing that victory relies not just on courage, but on precision and obedience. His teachings emphasized knowing yourself and your enemy. If you know the enemy and know yourself, you need not fear the result of 100 battles, he wrote. These lessons weren't just for generals, they're principles that leaders, business people, and athletes still use today. Even though Sun Tzu lived over 2,000 years ago, his influence hasn't faded. The art of war has been studied by military leaders from Napoleon to General MacArthur. But it didn't stop there. Business leaders, athletes, and even gamers have applied his strategies to competition, negotiation, and teamwork. The idea is simple. Success comes from preparation, understanding, and adaptability. Sun Tzu teaches us that strength alone isn't enough. You need wisdom, insight, and the ability to anticipate your opponent's moves. So, who was Sun Tzu? He was a thinker, a strategist, and a visionary whose lessons on strategy, leadership, and human nature remain relevant even today. Whether on the battlefield, in the boardroom, or in your everyday challenges, his words remind us. Victory favors the prepared, the observant, and the wise.